Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. What we're going to do today is we'll be looking at our 2025 to 2026 North Carolina Tar Heels football team. This team has been in the newspapers a lot during the offseason. Obviously, the major story here, you have Bill Belichick. He is the GOAT from the NFL crossing over into the college football world. He's going to be the new head coach of the Tar Heels for this season. He is 73 years old right now, coming to rebuild and retool this Tar Heels team. What we're going to do today is we're going to look at their entire schedule, look at some of the pieces they lost from last season, some of the pieces that they added for this season, and we're going to try to predict the outcome for every single one of their games, going game by game, matchup by matchup, breaking them all down. First things first, though, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, by all means, drop them below. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? What are your thoughts on these games? Let me know what you predict for the 2025 football season, and I will make sure that I respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, look down at the pinned comment below. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would definitely appreciate that. Once the football season starts, both college football and the NFL, we go over every single game every week. We break them all down. We do our predictions. We do our best bets, the money lines, the spreads, the over-unders for every single one of the games. So make sure, guys, if you are a sports fan, if you are a football fan, please make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. So as I mentioned earlier, the big question that's going to really dominate this entire season is, what is Bill Belichick going to do now that he's taken over the UNC Tar Heels football team? Is he going to have a successful first season? Will it take some time for him to succeed? He's already 73 years old, so obviously there's really not that much time left. He doesn't have a long runway. He has to rebuild this team. He has to rebuild this team extremely quickly. He's been working in the portal. He's been bringing in a lot of players. They worked the portal a lot this offseason. Some of the guys that they wanted to get, they weren't able to pick up, but nonetheless, they're going to have a lot of brand new starters coming onto this team. The most important position is obviously always going to be the quarterback position. He doesn't have Tom Brady suiting up for the Tar Heels, but they did reach into the transfer portal. They pulled out Gio Lopez. He transferred over last season, threw for about 2,800 yards, ran for just shy of 500. They're going to be running a up-tempo spread offense this season, but Gio Lopez is going to have to be a massive upgrade. He's going to have to be a difference maker on this team to carry this team. He's a veteran at least. He's got to get 3,000 passing yards, 500 to 750 rushing yards in order to suck up time, get this offense going. But with so many moving pieces here on this team, you have to realize that it might take a couple games for them to actually gel together and get everything in motion. So those very first games are going to be extremely important for the building blocks for this roster going forward. In the wide receiver position, you have a Ship, Pacer, you have Johnson coming over. For the running back position, they lost their best running back last season. He went off. Hampton was a great running back the last few seasons. You're going to have Davion Goss coming in here. You are going to have Caleb Hood. And at the tight end position, you're going to have Jake Johnson. A lot of people are praising him, thinking that he has a very high ceiling. He is a big-bodied tight end. Looking at this overall team here, when you look at the schedule there up on the board, the Blue Stars, that means the games that Vegas, as of right now, is predicting the Tar Heels are going to win. The Red Stars are the games that the Tar Heels are predicted to lose by Vegas. And the yellow is, it's just too early to tell. It's going to be a toss-up right now. With so many teams breaking in new quarterbacks this season, and there is a buttload of teams bringing in new quarterbacks, there's a lot of unknowns here. We have to first wait to see these teams on the field. I don't put too much stock into spring training. Everyone usually looks good spring training. I want to see them versus Division I, true competition on the field. That's when we'll really be able to learn a lot about these squads. But you have Bill Belichick there. At least you know the defense is going to be much improved. The defense the last couple seasons under Mac Brown, they were never able to get that defense on track. Obviously, they've had great offenses in the past. They've had two top quarterbacks drafted in the last 3 to 4 seasons. This team has produced a lot of offensive weapons, but it's the defense that's been lacking. That is Belichick's specialty. They're going to have an aggressive, disciplined defense. But I do have a lot of doubts about Bill Belichick succeeding at the collegiate level, and if he has the time coaching to actually rebuild this team. But at least an 8-4 season, that would be respectable. First year college football, but Vegas has the Tar Heels coming in at 7.5 right there. So right on the cusp of that. Let's not waste any more time. Let's start looking at these games. The very first matchup is going to be Monday, September 1st. It's going to be in Chapel Hill. It's going to be a home game here. You have the TCU Horned Frogs coming to Chapel Hill. TCU is actually a pretty good team. They have a really good offense. You have Sonny Dykes there calling plays. He's the Mike Leach to Supple. They run that up-tempo air raid system. They're going to be spreading it out. They actually had a top 20 offense last season. Obviously, their defense has a lot of question marks, but they're going to be able to score with anyone. Hoover coming back at the quarterback position. He's going to be a veteran. They're going to be airing it out up and down the field with this newly formed defense. It's going to put a lot of pressure on them. It's the air raid. You're going to have to stick to your assignments. They're going to be in a lot of zone there. They're going to have to make sure to cover their guys in space, or TCU is going to run up the score. If their offense is able to score, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Gio Lopez to go blow for blow, score for score for them. Like I said, it could take a couple games for this team to finally gel together. Right now, I do have the Tar Heels as the underdog in this game. I'm not saying they're going to win or lose it, but I have to give some credit here for the 2CU team, bringing in a lot of veterans. This is the game that you wish, if you are a Tar Heels fan, you really wish you were starting the season versus a cupcake team, something that you can get everything oiled versus get the offense going, get the defense going. But right out of the gate, one of the better teams in the Big 12, you're going to have to come prepared to play good defense and to score this game. And then after that, you'll be able to play one of your in-state rivals Saturday, September 6th at the Charlotte 49ers. This game is in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is a game you're going to win, but this is a game that you should see growing every single game up through the midway season, getting really good down the stretch here, building on the TCU one. Whether you win or lose it, that's going to be your foundational game. If you win it, you are hot out the gate. You are prepared to be rolling this season because you beat a team that can score a lot of points. That has to stand for something, especially in the ACC. If you lose that, doesn't matter. It's an out-of-conference game. Now you have Charlotte. You're going to be heavy favorites here. Blow the doors off of them. They're going to win this game handily. And then now we're starting to get the cupcakes. That's what you need under this new staff. You want a couple games to get fixated, get set in your systems. Saturday, September 13th, you have the Richmond Spiders coming to Chapel Hill. This is going to be a game. This is an FCS team. They're going to blow them out. You are really going to see the highs of your offense versus these FCS squads. Obviously, that's not going to be the way that they'll be playing the whole season, but you want to see really what they are capable of versus the worst of the teams. Let's call it like it is. You want them to curb stomp this team into the ground. They're going to win it like a 50-7 type game. And what is with all of the Big 12 out-of-conference games after that Saturday, September 20th at the UCF Knights? This is an interesting game going all the way down to Florida, going down to Orlando, Florida. Don't forget, with the UCF Knights, they are bringing back Scott Frost as the head coach. He's the one who led them to the undefeated regular season a couple seasons ago. He is back now. Sometimes the retread, the redo doesn't quite work out to this success as the first time, but the Knight fans are definitely hoping for that. One thing that we know he is going to do, he's one of the more adaptable, one of the better offensive-minded coaches in college football right now. He's going to spread this team out. He's going to have this team running and gunning the entire season, but with him coming back, he has to reflip this roster from Gus Malzahn's roster. It might take 1 or 2 seasons. That's why we have this game marked as a toss-up. No reason to panic, Tar Heel fans. Not saying you're going to lose it, not saying you are going to win it. Both of these teams have new coaches. Both of them have new schemes. Both of them have new quarterbacks. There's a lot of unknowns here. So until we see these teams on the field, I just want to see what they're capable of. That's why it's marked as a toss-up right now. And now you have ACC play lurking on the horizon. Best case scenario, you could be 4-0 here, 3-1. That is very respectable. You're going to have a bye week Saturday, September 27th. There's a couple things that have been working by this point, a couple things that have not been working. This is your time to get set on those things. Work on some of those things because you have a massive matchup coming up next. Saturday, October 4th, the Clemson Tigers coming to Chapel Hill. This is the team that, as of right now, Vegas is predicting to win the ACC conference, to make the playoffs right now. This is a Dabo Swinney team. You are seeing the GOAT from the NFL versus one of the modern day best coaches in college football right now. People might not like him, but he is what it is. He's won 2 national championships. You have to respect that. Only Kirby Smart can say that out of active coaches right now, so you got to put some respect on Dabo's name. He has one of the more experienced teams coming back. He has Cade Klubnik coming back. He has Williams coming back at wide receiver. They're going to have a top 10, top 20 defense easily. They're going to have a top 15 offense. They had a top 15 offense last season. Cade Klubnik, year 2 under Garrett Riley, took massive strides forward on the offensive side. They're going to be, again, set third year in this scheme. They are going to be aggressive. He threw for 3,500 yards, ran for like 800 yards. He's going to put up even better numbers. He is number 2 in the Heisman odds to start the 25 season. He's going to put a lot of pressure here on the Tar Heels. This is going to be a true test for Bill Belichick, but I think that obviously Clemson is going to be the favorite team here. They will be winning this game. But that's okay. You don't need to gauge yourself versus playing the best team in your conference. That just kind of lets you know where you fall within the order of things right now. And then after that, the very next weekend, you're going to have another bye week, Saturday, October 11th. You're off that weekend. I don't really know why 2 out of 3 weeks you have bye weeks. That's really dumb scheduling there. Kind of is what it is. You get some time to rest, but you get 2 bye weeks before the midway point of the season. That makes for a very difficult, very physical second half. You are definitely going to get wore out by the time that you get to the end of the regular season. And our next game that you have coming up on the schedule Friday, October 17th at the California Golden Gophers, Berkeley, California. You have to go all the way across the nation from east all the way to west. For some reason, the ACC did decide to add them in. They're not in their footprint, but whatever, that's a whole nother story. Cal, this is a very good school academic-wise. On the football field last year, they showed some bright spots. At one point last year, they had the number 1 pass defense in the nation, but that only lasted up till about week 5 or 6. Then they completely fell off the rails. They were getting torched up and down the field every single game. Their quarterback, Mendoza, he transferred out. He's gone. They're having to refill a lot of those pieces. They had a veteran team last year. They're going to be a young team this year. Look for Bill Belichick. He'll be able to out-scheme them. He'll be able to out-talent them. They'll be favored here. And this next game is one you got to watch. For some reason, it seems like it could have potential upset written all over it. Saturday, October 25th, the Virginia Cavaliers coming to Chapel Hill. I have this game marked as the Tar Heels being the Vegas favorite, but Virginia's always one of those teams that has awful seasons, but they always upset a couple decent teams throughout the season. But technically, on paper, North Carolina should win this one. Bill Belichick, you don't want to lose this game. And what about the job that Fran Brown did at Syracuse last season? Friday, October 31st at the Syracuse Orange, going to the Dome, Syracuse, New York. This team, they lost all their playmakers last year. They won 10 games last season. Not a lot of people were talking about them. You best remember them. Fran Brown really showed what he can do on the offensive side. He had this team ready to go. Kyle McCord led the nation in passing last season. They had a really deep wide receiver core. All those guys are gone, though. They've been working the portal. They've actually been recruiting pretty good. They have a lot of new playmakers coming in, but I think that the Tar Heels are going to have the more talented roster right now. And obviously, they have the better overall coach. Syracuse, keep your eye on them, but with them having to replace a lot of those pieces from last year's squad, this is going to be a rebuilding year. Tar Heels, I do have it marked as a toss-up right now because I want to see what's happened to this Syracuse team by this point. Have they been able to build up on their new starters? Are they starting to roll right now? If not, they could potentially upset the Tar Heels. But if you force me to pick a winner right now, I'm going to go with North Carolina. And then after that, we have another West Coast team coming all the way over to the ACC. We have Saturday, November 8th, the Stanford Cardinals coming all the way to Chapel Hill. This is a team, they were awful last season. They had an awful defense. They had an awful offense. Their quarterback transferred out. They have to refill a lot of positions, and they weren't very good when they had those positions filled. They're going to be even more depleted at this point of this season. I have North Carolina again in this game being favored. And then the next regular season game that we're going to look at, Saturday, November 15th at the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. This is another in-state rival, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The Demon Deacons, they don't have Sam Hartman. Whenever they had those good seasons a couple seasons ago, they actually had a pretty decent offense that was able to lead them. They have not had that for a couple seasons now. They have, unfortunately, not to be mean, they have not been relevant since that point. They don't have a good offense. They don't have a good defense. They're not a competitive squad. Bill Belichick, do not drop this game, especially because it's within that Tobacco Row area. You don't want to lose to one of your rivals, but I have UNC easily winning this game. And if there was a game that Belichick really wants to win game one thing that you have to understand about college football, there's a lot of rivalries, especially in-state rivalries. You can have an awful season. As long as you win your rivalry games, you will have some respect to your name. Saturday, November 22nd, the Duke Blue Devils coming to town. Manny Diaz's squad. He lost his quarterback from last season. Doesn't matter. They paid a buttload to have the Tulane quarterback transfer over. They are paying them. He put up really solid numbers last season. He's kind of mobile, but he does vertically push the ball down the field. They're going to be playing a lot of play action. You know, with Manny Diaz, they're going to have a good defense. They're going to have an aggressive defense, tackles for a loss, sacks, quarterback pressures. This is really going to probably be, to me, the game where you see the most out of Gio Lopez because they are going to be in his face the entire game. That's the way that they live on the defensive side. They're going to be able to vertically push the ball down the field. They're going to be running the ball. They're going to have a decent offense. They're going to have an extremely aggressive top 20, top 25 defense, and they're probably going to lead the nation top 20 in turnover percentage on that defensive side. The game will be decided by the Duke Blue Devils front seven, but this is a game. If the Tar Heels pull off this win, this is a game where you're looking at 8 or 9 wins. There's a lot riding on here. If you lose it, It's okay. And our final game, another in-state rivalry game, Saturday, November 29th at the NC Wolfpack, Raleigh, North Carolina. This is Dave Doran's team. Dave Doran, very good coach. He has not lived up to expectations the last few seasons. Don't forget, last year he started out the season top 25. They completely fell off. Things did not line up. They lost their best skill player to the transfer portal, transferring over to Louisville. There's a lot of pieces here that they're going to have to replace. They used to have a great front seven, a great run game. They got away from both of those things. They need to get back to their foundational aspects, what they did really good. Run game, extremely aggressive defense. As of right now, North Carolina, we are truly going to know what the Tar Heels look like by this final game of the regular season. But we're also going to know what a Bill Belichick college football team would look like by this point. Has it been a success, or are people scratching their heads and right now they are sitting at 4-7? I don't think that will be the case, but that is always, the potential is always there for that to happen. College football is a completely different sport practically than NFL football. It is two different worlds, but you have the GOAT from one of those worlds. So you have to think that he can at least be somewhat competitive within the college realm. And if he can develop this team quickly, he could be handing off a very well-built roster to the next guy coming up. I have UNC winning this game. Dave Doran will be out-coached here, and I think UNC is going to have a lot more momentum at this point of the regular season than the Wolfpack. So when you're counting up the Blue Stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games that I have them guaranteed to win, that they'll be the favorites. That's the floor for the season. No, I'm not saying that they're going to go 7-5, because obviously 3 of those games are marked as losses. So that's 7-3, and you have 2 games marked as toss-ups. They could split that. They could go 8-4. They could win both the toss-ups. They could go 9-3, which would be a very, very successful season. Absolutely nothing to scoff at going 9-3 first season with a new coach, completely new team, new quarterback. You'd have to give Bill Belichick a lot of props here. He would really be showing massive coaching chops here. Vegas has them at 7.5. I have them sitting between that 7 and 9 win percentage. Right now, probably going 8-4. That's the most likely option. Guys, that's our Vegas look at our early preseason schedule predictions for the 2025 North Carolina Tar Heels, and more importantly, for Bill Belichick. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, by all means, drop them below, and I will make sure to respond to every single one of them. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, look down at the pinned comment below. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would definitely appreciate that. And of course, guys, thank you for watching, and good luck this season.